Hello, Mark Red Larson here for the Dreamcatcher podcast. Thanks for joining us. Today, my wife Cheryl is joining us in this episode of the podcast titled What Are Dreams Made Of? And we came up with this title and idea and thought, whatever. When people ask us, they seem to enjoy what we do for traveling and things like that. And we thought, what is it that really resonates with people, when we travel or when we go to nice new restaurants or nice like yesterday went to a chalk mine, actually the world's largest chalk mine in the United States. Maybe the world, was it? I can't remember.
I don't remember which.
But was awesome. Got to see three bats, two up very close. And I think bats are cute. I'm not, and I think don't you think so too?
Yeah, it
Their
depends on the
faces look
bat.
like
Some of them are kind of,
their faces look like puppy dogs.
yeah, they're the
So
varieties that do it, and
yeah,
they're the ones that have the
and these
snout
guys,
that
the
are
two of
quite
them in
so
the
cute.
cave is, or the thing is like, leave us alone.
Yeah, they were sleeping.
So, but uh, the thing I think that most people, that I talk to is like, you guys go to so many awesome places, and really, we didn't used to. The
No.
dream was to always travel, and still is worldwide. But I think it was your cancer 10 years ago that kind of got us initiated when you had your colon cancer. We started traveling when you had such intense chemo to
I
take
was
care of.
going nutto because I couldn't drive, I couldn't go anywhere, I couldn't work. I hated the television after the third day. Just not a television fan.
Me either.
And I mean, you can only read so long before your eyes go buggy, and I just didn't feel up to doing too much. And so, yeah, we started doing it just simple little drives.
Yep,
It's kind of morphed into more than that now.
it
But
has. But no, we found out that Kansas has a lot more than we ever.
yeah.
We kind of dismiss Kansas like people dismiss Nebraska.
Well, I think people dismiss people the same way. They
I
see
think so
it
too.
outside and it's not flashy or it's not, of the moment. But there's always so much more to things than what appears. So,
Yeah, I mean, we found there's Coronado Heights in the middle of Kansas. So it's like a small mountain, which is really strange that it's just right there in the middle.
yeah,
Cornfields all around it,
a
and it's
lot of supposed history of, Coronado himself is supposed to have come there, but
it's
things get
strange.
things get embellished.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a nice view, and then they have the WPA
yeah. There's like a little
castle
castle up top.
up top. So
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. And then we had some friends initially when we were starting to getting ideas from Ashi. She growing up in Minneapolis, Kansas, and which I had never heard of until she brought it up.
mhm,
I think that's where she grew up.
somewhere.
And there's Rock City right outside of Minneapolis
Yes.
with these house-sized round oval rocks, and it's like being on a whole different world.
Mm,
And it's like I guess they were left over when the inland sea just went away.
dissipated. Yeah.
And that was like with the chalk mine. When we went into the chalk mine, the gal said we were going back 1 million years, and that it was basically formed with that inner sea, also. But you know, when you start living your dream, life gets really good, and it can be very difficult to live your dream. That's why most people don't. I think they don't take the action. They have the some days, and the some days don't usually come, or they may come at the end of your life that you don't have much time to do it. And it's just your cancer was kind of a wake up call to us. It gave us clarity, that's for
Right.
sure. But people like, where are you going this weekend? And I think it's because most people don't, even if they want to travel, they don't think they have the money, the time, whatever the reason is. And I can tell you, 10 years ago when we started, we didn't have the money.
Yeah,
And
we
right
still
now,
don't
it's
have the
yeah,
money.
oh yeah, both it's very similar, 10 years to now. But you still do it. And you can do the smallest thing without really any money. I mean, it takes so little. And but it still gets your dream going, and you never know who you're gonna meet. Um, what's
Yeah, we
gonna
ran
happen.
into someone yesterday that knows someone where we live, which was kind of fun.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, you just don't know. You get out there and God crosses you with amazing people. Um, kind of like a week ago when we went out to eat, because it was a nice day and we decided to go out to Cunningham's on the lake and eat outside. And we hadn't been there a long, long time. And our waitress was from what?
oh heavens,
Can't even remember where she.
she yeah she was, but
Nepal. Was it Nepal?
I'm trying to exactly remember where.
But it was a country that,
She's an immigrant.
yeah, from a long ways away. And I apologize that that's the wrong country, but from not the United States. And my gosh, her backstory. And
Yeah, she
actually,
actually knew someone we knew too. So
yeah. And
actually,
actually,
someone I work for.
she's
So
going to be a guest on the podcast tomorrow.
yeah.
So, yeah, you never know when you do something with your dream, how it starts to snowball. And,
Well, I
that's,
have had people ask how we find these places, and initially for us, besides the fact that people had told us, yeah, you pay attention to the road signs on the side of the road, and we have found more places with this tiny little sign that says something something, and we just said, "Oh, what the heck? Let's go." And
mm-hmm,
you find the most interesting people and
you
doing the most
do.
interesting things, just out in the middle of nowhere, and they don't advertise or they don't have the budget like, to advertise or go on TV, and
Yep.
so they put out a little sign and hope for the best, and of course word of mouth and local kinds of things that,
Even that gallery in North Loop yesterday, that was a nice gallery for a town of 300
yeah, she
some.
was an interesting gal. I wish
Yeah.
we'd taken more time to talk with her, but
And
she had customers, so
my town, it was the popcorn. They
yeah.
have popcorn festival in the summer.
He
Coach
loves
Cheryl,
popcorn, so
just about every day.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah, it's okay.
huh?
It's okay.
Oh, it's awesome. I make awesome popcorn.
You make a
So
lot of popcorn.
I do. But I told her I was going to go back. That's one of my dreams, do that kind of stuff. When that occurs, I don't know what month that occurs. I will definitely find out, won't I, Cheryl?
Yeah, I think it was August.
Was it?
I'm not
So,
positive.
but until you're out there doing stuff like that, I guess maybe I'd heard of that, but I didn't know what town it was, and we'd gone by this chalk mine.
Well, it's been closed or for the season or
well, yeah,
too late in the
it's only
day.
open
Right?
from Memorial Day to Labor Day, but beautiful area. And then I climbed up the rest of the almost little mountain. Oh my gosh!
I stayed down because they were talking about a
Straight up.
badger, and I don't run very fast, and so I
I've run
thought,
into badgers, before when I've gone out and walked and
but
run.
they're a squish grizzly with a bad tooth. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
they
they are
don't want to
grumpy as heck.
confront you.
They don't
So,
like you. They
yeah,
and I see the
before you.
damage they can do.
And that's another thing, you can always find something to be afraid of. So
a badger coming at you and you can't
I've
run.
never had a badger do it, and I've had them face to face with me when I've been on the road.
Well, good for you.
So,
I talked for the ladies down
so,
at the bottom, so
nope,
glad
I
you had
had
fun. But
nothing in.
no.
And when I got to the top, it was interesting because there was a half a dozen red roses up there, and I don't know what that was about, but I think it was,
Well, it might have been for an anniversary or birthday or
yeah.
something.
So
Well, they did say there was some graves up there, so maybe
yeah,
that was what it was for.
maybe that could be too. But the view of the North Loop River, and oh my gosh, when your dream is to do that stuff, the stuff you find and want to tell the world. I mean, and show the world. And I do with my photos and videos on Facebook and a lot of that things. But whatever your dream is, if it's to write a book, if it's to do art, you got to do it, even if it's the littlest amount. You got to do it. You guess it has to become part of you. Um, just I didn't know that my dream was doing a podcast before I started this, but I look forward to it, and I get to talk, and is strange coming from me, but not
Well, you've
anymore.
got a lot of your mom in you. So.
Yep, I do. She never met a stranger, that's for sure.
No,
And
she never did.
but no, what dreams are made of is action. Like anything, it's action. And everybody's like, well, I don't know what to do. It's like you won't until you go through it. You just got to do it, whatever it is. I mean, we've learned when we went to Italy 2 years ago, that was a lot different. But it wasn't near as intimidating as I thought. People in Germany were very easy to get through customs, very very easy. Or not customs, but when you passports. Or is that customs?
Well,
So,
yeah. I mean,
but she's like, "What day you coming back?" And it's like, "Well, that's good." It's like, "Well, this is easy." So it was much harder getting back in the United States than it was going Italy and Germany. But I mean, Italians, were amazing. Not the best drivers by a long ways, but and I've said that before. But that's my dream, and my dream also is to do these podcasts in person, wherever I have, like Jack over in Lisbon. Wherever. It wouldn't it be awesome, Cheryl,
yeah,
to do those in person? I mean, that would be a lot of traveling.
yes.
So, but just think of the education. It's the best education there is traveling. and then also being healthy and showing people that when you get to be our age, that you don't have to be basically getting done with your life, shutting down. Actually, we got carded yesterday, and I loved it. I told the guy thank you. So, but
Well, he said if you looked under 90, so
yeah, still we got
I'm
carded.
old, but I'm not quite there yet. So yeah.
No, but yeah, it was just just do what you want to do, and don't put it off till tomorrow. Get clarity on what you want to do, because I mean, almost everybody has their dreams when they were growing up. Most people are not living their dreams. I commend people that are, because they're an example. But going back to the age thing, I don't dress like most people probably do at this age. Although I think our generation is better than it used to be. But everybody's like, "Aren't you getting ready to retire?" It's like, no, that is not the dream. The dream is to keep on doing stuff as long as I'm possible. Is possible, and do something that doesn't seem like work. And this isn't physical work. This is more definitely, um, what I don't know what you call it,
Yeah, mental
mental work.
work.
Yeah, and keeping mentally cognitive and all this and everything, and that's why I just had a physical, and you've been doing stuff, and
Mhm.
I got a couple things that I need to work on and will be working on, because I don't want. I've gotten to this point in my life. I don't want to have a heart attack or stroke now, and it was actually my blood pressure and my cholesterol. Blood pressure I'm more concerned about than the cholesterol, but we're working on different things, and I am not a fan of pharmaceutical drugs.
Well, when you
I
have a
don't get start
history in
popping
the
pills.
family of people
So
having bad reactions, your
yeah,
wife for one of them.
I'm sorry. I wouldn't even if I didn't have bad reaction to it. I'm not a fan of popping pills. You're not taking care of the problem. You're masking it.
Yeah, that could
And
be true. Yeah.
there's too many side effects. And I don't know. There's the solutions out there. There's a reason why I'm having the blood pressure issue, and the issue needs to be found and addressed. So,
Yeah.
and I want to be an example, inspiration to people. It's like, don't pop a pill, because how many people do we know take multiple pills, and you can't know the interaction on that. So, but no, my dream is to be very athletic in my 60s, so and onward, um, and keep working with the why and
As Benjamin Franklin said, healthy, wealthy, and wise.
yes,
So
exactly.
that would be, I think, everyone's dream.
I think
People
so.
don't want to be
Healthy.
sick. I mean, there are some people that have, and I have known a couple that have had major issues that they just refuse to address, alcoholism being one of them. And it's just, I feel for someone who has that affliction because, you're so alone and it is such a fight.
Hmm.
And I watched people who give up, and it's just crushing for your heart to see someone do that to themselves. And then it's crushing to watch what it does to their families. And
Hmm. Yep.
so, yeah, it's nicer to make a choice that's positive than negative, I would
It
guess,
is.
in general. So,
No. So, and we're having our
yes, decaffeinated coffee
yes, it
for
is
him.
decaffeinated.
So,
Yes, we
although
actually found our favorite brand and favorite one of their
his
their coffees
favorite
as
coffee, yeah.
decaf,
So,
and yeah, I was woohoo.
yeah, he almost did a jig in the aisle at the
Yeah,
grocery store.
and I know decaf is not the best for you, but at
Yeah.
least it's a solution.
We have some friends that are
So,
roasters and baristas, and they told us what they do to the beans to make it decaf, and it's yeah, it's a wash.
yeah,
So we're doing
it
it
is a
right.
wash.
Well, some kind of wash. Chemicals that are
Yeah,
not the best for you.
no, that's true. But
But we're addressing one problem at a time. So
yes,
right now we're working on his blood pressure, and then we'll figure out something to replace his coffee.
yep.
That'll be a challenge.
And that is with the dreams. Take one step at a time too, because it can get overwhelming. And then when you're overwhelmed, more than likely you're going to quit. Or say I'll do it next week, next month, and it won't happen.
Yeah.
Do one thing. Do one thing today, and make it a do one thing every day, or do one thing every other day. But make a thing that it's like non-negotiable. I'm going to do this. It's like going to the gym. Non-negotiable. I'm going to do that too, or I'm going to research these locations I want to go and what it would take to get to them, or whatever it is. If I want to become a writer, that's one thing. We went to a writing class, earlier this year, and it was so awesome. And
Yes, you had a very good
yeah,
instructor. So.
it's like, and then they said, to become a writer, write 15 minutes or 250 words a day. And it said, before you know it, you'll have a book. See, that part, you don't get overwhelmed. And even myself, I'm sure I could do 15 minutes. I think once I got into it, especially after that class, oh, it was an awesome class. And I would never thought I would say something about writing, but excellent instructor and excellent people with us. Um, so, and I think anybody that's watched the podcast, God tells me I'm going to write at least a minimum one book. Um, but yeah, don't let your dreams overwhelm you. And, take, like I said, non-negotiable on the price. It's just like, I'm going to put away whatever per week until I get half of it done, and then make plans to, or something like that. Make a roadmap on how or whatever it is. But I think people just enjoy us going out and showing people what's possible, and places that they haven't seen, especially when this is all around the world.
Well, and we don't differentiate because when people say travel, they think Paris, London, Rome.
Go for
And
those.
which is I'm not denying that that's wonderful, and I would think that's fabulous. But we've also talked to people that have been in other countries that said, "Oh," and then they understand when they see how many places there are just in our location, why a lot of people don't leave the United States, because there is so much to see, because it is a huge expanse
Yeah,
of.
can't wait to go back to Italy.
Yes, I'd love to go to a lot of places.
Oh, me
I've got
too. In
uh,
Portugal with Jack and his family.
well, and I'd like to meet the gentleman from Ireland. He seems like.
Oh, Mr. Mark Madeira.
Yes, and
Yes.
his dog.
Yeah.
But there are just so many things that are around us, and I think that people dismiss what's nearby because they
True.
drive by it every day and they don't understand what's interesting. I mean, just yesterday I found out there was a monastery nearby that I had really never seen and knew that was there, and
Hmm.
that was just a few minutes away, and you get kind of, I don't know, anesthetized to the things that are local. You think, oh well, they're not interesting, or oh, I've always seen that, and what's so new about that? But if you look at it from the eyes of someone who has never been here, and I
Hmm.
think that's what we
Yes.
have tried to adopt, is that, yeah, some of the places we haven't been, but we've been by several times. But if you look at it with new eyes every time,
Yep.
you discover things.
You
And
do.
like I say, the little sign on the side of the road, and you meet with some really fascinating people that
You do.
are pursuing dreams, like you say, because
Yeah.
they olways wanted to, do whatever.
I
So.
mean, like that time in Estes Park, Colorado, where we met those people that, what were they called? The ones that the older people that were in their RVs when we were having.
Oh, the canned nuts.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
awesome.
she wrote a blog called Canned Nuts. I haven't really checked them
Uh,
lately. No, we were at a little winery place that was in Estes that I don't think's there anymore.
I don't think it is. It
And
might
they
be.
came in a group, and I was sitting waiting for Mark to get our drinks, and so I just got up and moved so that they could all sit together, and they were so impressed that someone would do that for them, that they wanted to talk to us. And oh, we just had the best
We
time talking
did.
with them,
They
that
were awesome. Wanted to
they just
join them right then and
yeah.
there.
Well, and at that point in time, we were considering seriously selling everything and buying an RV and doing what they were doing.
Yeah, or a Sprinter van or something like that.
Yeah, and so we kind of have backed off from that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I like home base here.
Well, I love you, dear, but I just don't
Oh,
know us in that small a space for that all the time.
I'd be
I don't know who'd
wonderful.
get buried
I would be
first.
wonderful.
Oh yes, you would be a joy. All right. I just don't know anybody. I admire people like truckers and stuff, but I suppose one sleeps and one drives. But in that small of a space, you have to have a certain personality type to be
Hmm.
able to deal with, I want to kill you right now because you're in my face too much. And I
That
think,
would be her in the morning.
yeah, it would. And so we kind of backed away from thinking that that was something
Yeah,
we
I'd rather
wanted.
have
I
home
mean,
base
we
than
wanted the
travel.
travel, but we just didn't think that
Yeah, I would rather rent an RV and do that,
well, yeah,
and then
and they're
have be
so
there. Yeah,
expensive right now that I just,
and there's such a short amount of time in this part of the world
well, and
because of the weather. I mean, yeah, but wintertime, you're definitely not going to.
Well, I mean, we would discussed about following the 70s is what they call it, where you
I
follow the
can
weather
understand that one.
and you kind of make a loop in North America, which would be interesting to do. And I think I would really enjoy doing the stuff that the folks are doing at the Pioneer Village, where they are an
Yeah.
artery group that goes around
And Pioneer
and
Village is a local museum.
yes, and they go around and they help out local museums, small places that basically are in need of help. And
Yep.
right now they're painting how many panels?
They started putting it up
75 or something
yesterday.
like that. Wood so that they could have the old fashioned painted sign on the interstate, and then they've been working on their carousel that there's there.
It's nice
So
too.
everyone has like skill sets from the past but are retired or whatever, and they go out and they help these organizations. And I think that would be an interesting thing to do for a summer. A small, short amount of time, but not full time. I just I don't know that we'd be married afterwards.
Oh, we would be better for worse.
Yeah, or buried on the side of the road because we can't stand each other anymore.
Oh, come on.
I think too much togetherness was
Yeah, I think
what
so too.
slowed us down.
We both like to have our alone time.
Yes, we're both pretty independent when it comes to a lot of things, and so we like to have our time, and then we like to have our time. So.
And I would torment her in the morning, and
yes, you would, and that's why I'm saying
me in the evening.
That's why I'm saying
because she's waking up about the time I'm ready to go to bed. So, no, but just going back to dreams. Whatever your dream is, if it's to be in fit, whatever it is, go join a local gym. Get a coach. The Y has coaches that are very reasonable, and they show you how to do it. If you're not knowing how to do it, like I was, I'm still learning the new machines they have now at the local Y. But whatever your dream is, there's a path to that dream. And God didn't give you that dream just out of the blue. He gave you that dream to make it become real. And he gave you the wherewithal to make that dream come true. Probably not going to be easy because you have to grow into the person that can keep that dream. Do and keep that dream. And but there's always a route. There's pretty much a solution path, whatever you want to say, to any dream. Whatever it is, traveling, being fit, doing art, writing a book, whatever your dream is. And sometimes I think we need to take up our phones and put them away because I think we forget our dreams because we're so much on all the time. And you can't, and that's one thing with the AirPods. I don't ever do AirPods because, and I've said this in past ones, but because I'm waiting for the universe to talk to me. And Cheryl knows that God, universe talks to me almost daily. And if you got that blaring, you're not going to hear him because, like I've said many times, the silence does have answers. It has so many answers, and you may miss something that's pertinent to your dream. So you were going to say something, weren't you, Cheryl? So.
Oh, I'm just saying that when you have a dream, sometimes it's a rigid idea, and you need to be able to flow with that. So sometimes, every kid wants to be a fireman when they grow up, and if that dream stays with someone, maybe it's not going to, because fireman's a really tough, physical job. And you get older, and so that morphs into, okay, maybe I'm a captain or whatever it is that runs everything, or you might be an investigator of arson, or that type of thing. Just going from what a lot of little boys want to be a fireman because they like the noise and the big engines and that type of thing. But it doesn't have to be so rigid. Oh, I'm going to be a rock star and I'm going to have all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you're not going to be a rock star. Maybe you're going to be, a rock
form.
god on the weekends.
Yeah, maybe.
Or you're going to be a producer, or you're going, something that's with music. If you just explore, and maybe the thing that you were dreaming about isn't exactly what you thought it was going to be, and that you're a failure if it's not exactly what it matches, and
more than likely it's not going to match what you got.
Basically adapt.
Yep.
Is kind of
be flexible.
Yeah, because it is going to change.
Yeah, and sometimes it changes for the better because, like, hey, I hadn't thought about that,
or you didn't know about.
Yeah,
things. So.
Exactly. And it's just like talking about firefighters. I've got, I think next week from tomorrow, I've got a firefighter that's also an artist, so going to be my guest on the podcast. So that'll be interesting to see what she has to say.
Yeah.
And but I want everybody and that's another reason why I take so many pictures and of our trips and sunrises specifically, as I want to inspire people to know it's all right to do that kind of thing, no matter what their age. And like I said, I want people my age and older to realize it's like, there's people that are 100 now that are doing marathons, and everything's possible. You just got to believe. I mean, sometimes your body has other ideas,
Oh yeah,
but
my
but
body has
you
ideas
want to
in the
keep it
morning.
healthy, and
Yeah.
that's one reason why I'm addressing what I'm addressing very seriously, because I'm just getting started here, and I got a lot of the world to see, and I mean, God may have other ideas on that, but yeah, I want to inspire people of all these places, like the Queen's Bath when we were in Italy a couple years ago. Um, neat place. I mean, and talk about what 14th century was her place where she bathed, and what a neat, I mean, awesome place. Yeah,
Yes, if you are planning to go, little tip, go in the morning early because it's very popular and it gets really crowded very
yeah,
quickly. But it is worth the climb down and worth the
yeah.
climb back up.
It's definitely
Yeah.
this way down, and you can
Yes,
yeah,
this way down.
yeah. It's really that, but
But it's beautiful.
I mean, it's like awe inspiring. So, and that's if we hadn't done this dream, we probably never gone to Italy. Probably wouldn't do a lot of things.
Mhm.
Or Florida. I'm a fan of Florida very much. I like Clearwater. I like Key West very well. We can thank my sister
For
for
that
that, and my aunt for that
aunt
gift.
and uncle, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, I like Florida, but I don't think I want to be there during the summer
I
because
know I don't want to be there
you'll
when it's
melt
humid.
your eyeballs.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean, it
not a
is
good.
so hot and
We have humid here for a while, and that's
yeah,
enough.
yeah.
But but yeah, travel's great. But whatever your dream is, make sure you put it on. That's another thing. Put it into the 3D. Put it on paper. Put it on a board. Put it there so you see it every day, at least one time. And then it's like, yeah, right. I was going to do that, because if it always stays in your mind, there's something about putting it down in, kind of like when you journal, or all that. Put it down in the 3D. There's something to writing, and it makes it, I guess, puts it into the physical and makes it more, I don't know if it's more likely to come true or not, but I believe if you
Well,
keep seeing it.
there's a gentleman that Mark actually met in Las Vegas, Charlie Rocket,
Hmm,
and he has a
awesome guy.
ginormous book that he's put things down in that, it's one of the ways he does things. And this man has been enormously successful.
He has, and he's done a
Um,
lot of good.
he's done, and yes, and he's moved into a different sphere from music, not giving it up. I
He
mean,
was a manager.
he helps people along the way,
Mm,
but he had an epiphany because of an illness, and he's doing wonderful things for
hmm.
people.
He
And
is. He's an awesome
but
dude.
that he has this giant book that he writes down, and he makes a ceremony of it, and it's really kind of an interesting idea, and it really has worked for him
And
from
he always says reality hasn't caught up to my,
my yeah
yeah. And it's like,
my ideas, yeah.
yeah, and it does. Just like when he did a commercial for Nike, he always said he was going to, and he did. He made it happen. So and that's the thing. If I hadn't done that stuff, thanks to Katie getting me into that area, whatever, I would have never gone to help those people in Vegas, and would have met a lot of people that I know nowadays. So yeah, just put yourself out there. It's scary, and there'll be people that won't like you, and you don't have to care, because there's always going to be people that are going to put you down. One thing, I think it makes them feel better, because when you're doing stuff, a lot of times it brings up the fact that they maybe aren't doing what their dreams are, and you just have to dismiss it and not take it too seriously.
Well, once you get old enough, you realize it's not about you anyway.
No, it's always about them.
It's about them. And once you have that epiphany and really truly understand it, yeah,
Yeah,
when someone says something bad to you, because it doesn't matter to you.
it doesn't.
It really, when you get old and crotchety, it does not matter
No,
to you at all.
no,
And
which is
so,
actually nice
a
too.
gift, yeah.
Yeah, it is a gift. So,
Yeah, there are some gifts when you get older.
yep, for
Um,
sure, a lot of them.
the creaky knees and the arthritis and the high blood pressure or whatever is not
We're
so
taking
much
care of
fun.
those.
But you get gifts even with my cancer. I had some, you know, wonderful people and things that happened to me that I was just stunned. You kind of go through life thinking you're anonymous, and yeah, and to a certain extent you are, but you don't realize. I had something that just touched my heart yesterday. I have a friend who's going through some really serious health problems, and she had a major, major surgery the other day, and she's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
But her husband sent me a little picture, and I just wanted to bawl. I had just, as a little joke, um, got her a little statue that says "Girl Power" um, to celebrate her finishing chemo, and she took it down with her when she went to have her surgery, and he sent a picture of it. And it's like, it was just something silly because I felt that she needed to acknowledge the amount of work she'd gone through and pain and suffering and everything else that goes with chemo.
Yep.
And so it was important to me to just kind of
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge that.
Yep.
But the fact that she took that silly little statue with her to give her inspiration, it just
Yep. You
was,
never know how something you do is
well,
going to
it was,
influence
yeah, it
someone
really touched me, and I was
positively.
just being silly.
Yeah.
So you never know what.
No, I mean that's another thing. Just say hi. Be kind. I've said that before. You never know how it's gonna. It might be what the person's having a bad day, and your hi, just saying hi, might be what they needed. Or
Well, that's
smile.
like I say, going back to the gift of, if I hadn't gone through that, I wouldn't understand how important
Yep.
it was for her to have something at the end. Because I had a friend that I had was my chemo buddy, and
Mhm.
she did things for me at the end of my chemo, and I did things for her, and you just don't realize unless you've gone through it just how important something silly
Yep.
like that is. I mean, we did what we called the pole dance. Um, two old
When you were,
fat ladies doing a dance in front of people with their IV pole. Um, but we were celebrating when someone finished chemo. I mean, some places have bells and that kind of stuff, but we just did it with the people that were near us that had got,
hmm
because when you do chemo, at least when I was going through, you get on a schedule and the same people are on the same day, so you get to know them because you're sitting there for forever,
a lot of hours.
a lot of hours. I was like 4 hours every time, and um, you get to know them, and so when they've finished and are still here, it's something to celebrate.
hmm
So,
Makes you appreciate life
oh yeah, yeah.
much more than before, and how much is a delicate, really, it's a
Well, like
gift.
like I said, there are things that are gifts that they don't feel like them at the time,
Mm-mm.
and yes, a lot of times you have to have distance and that type
I
of
would
thing to
agree.
understand, and sometimes someone else's viewpoint will allow you to understand what you went through. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, Cheryl, I'm out of coffee, so I
yeah,
think
so
we're
am
going
I.
to wrap this episode of the Dream Catcher podcast up. But what dreams are made of is action, taking action on what you really want to do, and if nothing else, doing a little each. You need to do something every day towards it, even if it's the littlest thing.
He's basically saying believe in yourself and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the dreams were given to you for a reason, and you are like anybody else that catches their dreams are meant to catch that dream. And don't let life
Right, somebody
happening,
else
don't
get in
let
the way,
lack of money, don't lack of time
or
keep you
someone
from doing
else's
that.
lack of support.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be other people that don't support you, but you support yourself. And I guarantee your vibe attracts your tribe. There'll be the people that are on the same journey as you out there that will very much support you. So, and it's awesome because you become great friends with those kind of people. And yeah, the ones you wouldn't have met if you didn't do the dream journey. So on that, thanks for joining us, Cheryl and I, on this episode of the Dreamcatcher podcast. Until next time, take care.